Hi, I am Rachel, and it has been a while. For those of you who are new here, this is my Rachel in real life channel, and it is definitely real life. I have some new followers from the Matt's Off-Road Recovery video, so thank you for being here. I just wanted to put a little disclaimer on the video that this channel is in fact Rachel in real life. To catch some of you up who are not familiar, I have been doing YouTube for a few years now, and I love the outdoors, and that's the majority of what I try to show, but also this channel also has to do with my real life and what goes on in it, good and bad. And around November, December timeframe, there was a family disagreement, and I take my part in it, and I was unable to see my nieces and nephews based on my sister's decision. This is very devastating to me when she does that. I can't say that I agree, obviously, with her decisions, but it's a saying I hate, but it is what it is. So I had worked on reaching out to her and trying, to come to a resolution like I had mentioned in my community post, and just wasn't getting anywhere. And that's very difficult for me to reach out, be the one to reach out. But when it comes to my nieces and nephews, I'll do whatever it takes because they are my top thing in life, people in life, happiness, along with nature. So everything was wearing on me pretty heavily with just not feeling any zest for life. I deal with very severe depression, and sometimes it's more severe than others. And when I am not able to see my nieces and nephews, it is definitely takes a hit. To fast forward a little bit and get up to speed, shortly after I posted my community post saying, hey, you guys, I'd love to come back to YouTube. I wanted to do this in video form. I just wasn't able to. It just so happened that my older sister, Melanie, brought her new baby over to my mom, and my sister happened to show up. Anyway, I went upstairs because I'm living in my mom's basement. And I went upstairs, and Emily happened to be there with Lexi. And it had been about going on 4 months that I had seen her. And I just stood there, because I had called Emily, I had texted her, but I didn't hear anything. I had texted Jordan. I didn't hear anything from him, and Lexi doesn't have any means of communication, so I couldn't talk to her. And anyway, I just kind of signaled for Lexi to come over to me, and her mom said, she looked at her mom and she said, it's okay. And so Lexi, I just scooped her up and we just cried. We just cried and cried. And I don't think Emily realized the gravity of what keeping distance from me does to not only me, but to Lexi, because she had mentioned that, she didn't realize how upsetting it was. And so anyway, we talked through things, and I am extremely happy to report that it's been a couple months now, at least. It wasn't too long after that community post, like I said, but I am able to see Lexi, and she is actually here with me now. And so I am just thrilled to have her with me. She is such a joy to be around. She's so happy and pleasant, and I just adore her. So that is what is happening on that front. And as far as my depression goes, I had changed my medication around the time of my community post, and it wasn't quite working at all. To put it frankly, I unfortunately have such severe depression that I would rather not be alive. And that is not to say that I am I have any plans to harm myself, but I don't want to live that way, and I can't get myself out of that. Depression is, people need to think of it like any other sort of disability, illness. It's not something that somebody would choose to want to live with. Like I've said before, I have such a great opportunity in life to be happy and have my own freedom. I don't work, and I do not want to live this way. I do not want to be depressed. So anyway, the medication I was on wasn't quite working, and I have now been on medication since May 15th. That is wonderful. I am happy to report. I will share with you what my medication was and what it is now. So I've been on Prozac, and Prozac has helped. I've tried Wellbutrin, I've tried Fixer. There's some other ones that I've tried, but they didn't. The Fixer and Wellbutrin just made me angry. So the Prozac is working years ago when I started it again, and then I increased the dose because it wasn't working so much, and then I got on trazodone because it is an antidepressant, but also to help with my sleep issues. And so the first time I changed my meds this year, I'll say, we just increased the dose on Prozac. So I go through the VA, and I'm incredibly blessed to be able to do that and have the medical care there. So I work with psychiatry on my medication, and we just increased the Prozac. That really wasn't having much of an effect. And I was told, reach out to me ahead of time for the doctor, but I didn't. I just was being lazy and just didn't get around to it. You're dealing with depression. You're very unmotivated to do anything. Anyway, I had my follow-up, and I said, hey, I want to try a mix that she had suggested, that would be Wellbutrin with the Prozac, because the Prozac helps me. However, the Wellbutrin, it made me angry when I just tried it on its own. So now I am still with the trazodone, Prozac. I lowered the dosage back to what I was on, and then added in Wellbutrin. And I'm telling you, it has been such a major difference, and I am so grateful for it, because I actually finally feel more motivated to do things and make things happen, and I have been. And so the Prozac, it just levels out the Wellbutrin. And so I just shared that with you, that portion of it with you, in case there's somebody else who might be struggling, and talk to your doctor to see what could work for you, because I didn't know that you could do Wellbutrin and like Prozac together. But that's what you get when you actually work with psychiatry, because initially I was just working with my primary care doctors. So I decided, I really need help. I need to go to psychiatry. So I've done that. And then in addition to that, I have talked with the therapy department, because I need therapy for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I will leave the details private. But, I had my initial appointment, and we went through the things that I was struggling with. And it was interesting because I was asked, what is your most stressful event, traumatic event that has happened in your life? And there's a lot of people who have childhood trauma, and I have some of that, and other trauma as you go through your teen years and your young adult and adult life. You have trauma at all different stages. And so this is just the stuff that I had heard. So I'm not giving any advice to anybody. I'm just sharing with you what I was told through the VA, specifically through their PTSD program, is that, with childhood trauma, there can be just so much of it that it can be difficult to zero in on. And so the reason we went to one specific, like the most traumatic event in life, is because not only would we work on that, but it will also help in other trauma, and how to cope, learn how to cope with other things through these techniques that I learned for specific trauma. So there's a wait list for it, because I do not want to do group therapy, absolutely not. And I would rather not have a student through the VA. And so I've been waiting. I need to follow up back with them because I should have heard from them by now. But I will share with you the kind of therapy that we discussed. And the two therapies that we went over are both evidence-based, and I found them very, very interesting. Then there was a few others that were not evidence-based, meaning that they went through clinicals with patients to see how effective that these type of therapies were. And so these evidence-based ones are shown to be effective and helpful, whereas the other ones that are not evidence-based, and I won't even cover those because it's more like a daily talk therapy for daily events, not necessarily for trauma. So I'll leave those aside and just quickly go over the evidence-based post-traumatic stress therapy. I will say I'm extremely impressed with the VA's process for PTSD, because my specific PTSD happened while I was in the military in 2016. I went in to see behavioral health and the doctor and everything, and I can say that I'm extremely disappointed in what the actual military has to offer. The VA has a program and a process for all of that and this, and I just wouldn't have expected this through the VA. I would have expected it in the military. So, is it still recording, Bubba's? Okay, I have my little lovely Lexi in the background helping me out. Hi, Lexi. Hi. So cute. Oh, goodness. Okay. So the first one is prolonged exposure therapy. Again, it's evidence-based. So what you do, and I will tell you when we went through these, what the options were, I was like, immediately no. I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. So with prolonged exposure therapy, what you do is you describe the events in detail multiple times. And I was like, oh, because I can't even talk about it without just bawling. I cannot. So you do that, and then you record it at some point, and you listen to the recording multiple times. And what these all do is it helps differentiate between the actual event and your memory of it. So, the trauma of going through it at the time is the event, and it helps you kind of separate. And I'm just basing this off of my understanding. I'm interpreting it, okay? And so you can separate that event from the actual memory of it, kind of separate yourself more from it. And then it also is work to adjust or fix your thoughts and behavior that are associated with the trauma. So that is the prolonged exposure therapy. Towards the end of her explanation of it, it honestly found it very interesting to me. Cool. So we have no more light. Okay, before we completely run out of battery, we're going to get through this. The second evidence-based therapy is called cognitive processing therapy, and this involves writing and homework. You have a few of the first 3 sessions of doing the writing and the homework, and then, or is it, I can't remember specifically. Like I said, there's a long wait to get to the actual individual therapy. The 4th session is writing a very detailed description of the event. This can be optional because for some it's a lot. It's a lot, and you really need to be prepared to go through all this therapy to really face your trauma. And for me, I need to learn how to cope with it, in my life when it comes up, and any other trauma that I go through or have been through. The time frame really for both of these, they can last 3 months, but like I said, because I do not work and I have freedom to do what I need to do, the regular timeline is 1 time a week for 3 months. And then there's an intensive version, which is 3 to 5 times per week for 1 month. And I asked her, after going through both of them, I asked, well, is it possible to have both of the therapies? And she said, absolutely is. Sometimes people feel that they need both or would like to try both. Some people just do fine with one of them. My thought process is that I want to do the intensive therapy version and start with the prolonged exposure one. It's going to be very challenging, but I feel like doing intensive therapy, you're really going to keep on top of it and not forget about it from 1 week to the next to the next. You're on top of it and getting through it. So that's why I would really like to do that one. And then if I feel like, hey, I could benefit more from the cognitive processing therapy, then I would like to do that also. Like I said, it's a combination of the medication, which is working wonderfully. I don't want to say to myself, the medication is fine. It's all I need. I'm fine, because I know that I need therapy. So we're going to face some therapy. And this is my coming back video to YouTube. My goal is to show the videos from my long trip during the holidays. So like to Texas and Big Bend on this channel. Catch you up on all of those. And then catch you up on current events that have been taking place. And I am extremely excited because there are great things that are happening now. I'm very hopeful and happy for what is to come. And then I also will want to start on my reviews for my review channel, Rachel's Outdoor Adventure Review. And so I'm in a place where I will be able to just focus on the videos, but also my therapy when I'm able to start that up. And if anybody is interested, I would like to hear from you. Please comment if you want me to, not obviously details, but share what the therapy is like, like a daily vlog that I just kind of all put into one video. Let me know if you are interested in something like that. And another thing that I hate to share and do not normally share, but I'm feeling like just in a better place. So today is my birthday. I am 42. And it is not a day I care to celebrate at all. I don't need any happy birthdays or anything like that. I'm bringing it up because I feel like today is a really good day. I had been wanting to come back to Utah, I had been wanting to come back to YouTube. It's similar. But I just feel like today is a good day to do that because I'm feeling good. My age, I feel like this year, this age, 42, going forward, is going to be better. I'm going to be able to do better. Just with the steps I've already taken, with the steps I'm going to take, and this is kind of my starting off point, if you will. I'm not going to make any promises or anything like that, matter of fact statements, because life happens and we can't count on anything. So I appreciate all of my longtime subscribers for your patience with me and understanding and respecting my boundaries with contact. I don't do well with separate contact because it's just overwhelming and I get busy and then I get stressed because I'm not responding to people, and I'm not able to balance it very well, we'll just say that. And then for any new people, if you are sticking around, I would love that. Again, it's Rachel in real life, and it is definitely real life, right, Lexi? Yes, she says yes. And but my review channel is focused on outdoors stuff. So with that being said, I thank you so very much for my longtime viewers. What is it? Is it recording still? Is it recording? What are you saying? She's interrupting me. Anyway, we'll wrap this up and then she can end it once I'm done, once I say goodbye. Okay. So, yes, I hope you stick around. Thank you again for your support and understanding, and anybody else who is struggling, consider reaching out for help. I will put some information in the description, and it's just a first step, or anybody you can confide in. I'm not that person for you. I am working on my own stuff, and it's a lot, and I do not have the capacity to work on anybody's mental health. I have a psychology degree, so I do understand the importance of it, but I didn't continue on with a master's degree and PhD because I knew I did not want to be directly involved with other people's mental health. I do not want to do that. But I will share my journey, process, and hopefully progress, and maybe prompt other people to also get help that they might need or want. Okay? I'm definitely wrapping up now, and thank you again. I thought I'd feel weird about this coming back, but I feel okay, and I will sign off for now. Thank you again.